Okay, here I am, Tash Vanzetti, Discovery Coach and Mentor, with my good friend Deb LaFlamme from For the Love of Your Biz. Today we are talking all about marketing, and especially how to market your business when you don't actually know what you're selling. Or, you've come back from a holiday or a break and you're ready to kick up things again and you're like, oh crap, where do I start? So Deb, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thank you so much. Always good to talk with you. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So Deb always refers to me as her friend from the future. Deb's over near Boston. So yes, it's a day behind for her, but that's okay. I'm happy to be the one in the future. So Deb and I go a way back, and I just love the way that Deb constantly has this endless fountain of ideas on how to market your business. She's like the ideapreneur, I think you call yourself, don't you, Deb? And they just come, they're just endless and flowing and flowing. So I thought she was the perfect person to bring on to give us some inspiration and a little kick in the bum, if we need it, to start marketing our business better, because it can be really hard to do the whole marketing thing. We've got all the other things we want to be doing. We just want to be doing the work and chatting with our clients and doing all the fun stuff, and the marketing will often fall to the bottom of the list. I know it does quite regularly for me. So share a little bit about, what your experience is with people wanting to market their business and maybe avoiding marketing their business.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth, because I always say that I know that marketing falls to the bottom of your list every day. And
yeah, it does.
It's not intentional. It's just that when you are a small business owner and you don't have a team of marketers or someone hired to specifically do your marketing, it is impossible to put that out as a priority, because you're dealing with customers, clients, website, orders, payroll, right? Like human resources, all of these things will always take a priority unless you feel comfortable and actually enjoy the process of marketing. Because that's really what happens is if you don't love it, it doesn't become a priority. It goes to the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
But I love that you said, if you don't have something to sell, how do you market? Or if you don't feel like you have something to sell, or if you're coming back and feeling like you've been on a break, and where do you start? So I think I'll start with the first question, Tash, of you market if you don't know what you're selling, right? And I would say that I might refer to my story that I tell all the time about the story of the pen. And I'll grab a couple pens here, because I think it's easy for people to understand that it doesn't necessarily have to be about a thing or a service that you're selling or marketing in your business. It's about building a relationship with the people that you want to serve, or that need whatever it is you have. So it really could mean that you're selling a pen, something as simple as a pen. And if Tash and I have these pens, and pretend that these are the exact same color, close enough, but same brand, right? They're the same brand. They write the same, you get the same result. They even the same. And Tash and I will each hand you a pen for the same price at the same time. So you don't have to wait if you were going to buy either of our pens.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the person who you buy the pen from, your audience, your dream client buys the pen from, is the person they connect most with.
Absolutely.
The person that they have a common thread with, the person that they trust and like, and that's when they want to buy the pen. So when in doubt, share what you feel or how you feel about your day. Tash is really good in her storytelling about sharing behind the scenes of her business, which I love. Literally, she could sell me anything right now, and I already feel like I know her and I like her and I trust her. And that's really what I teach is it doesn't matter what you're selling. If you like me and trust me, you're going to buy from me, whether I'm selling a bag of recycled paper, or I'm selling a course, or I have a new book that I wrote. Like, you're going to be attracted to me, or you're going to be attracted to Tash. And you're going to be attracted to the point where you will buy whatever she or I or anyone else has to offer. So the most important thing that you can do in your business when you are marketing is don't hide and share what it is that fills you up, what inspires you. How many kids you have, the love of horses, or if you like to travel, or you have dogs, or you like wine. All of these things will be a common thread with your audience. And so that's the best advice I can give anyone when they are wondering, how do I sell something or market something that I'm not sure someone wants to buy, or that I'm not sure what I'm here to offer.
Yeah, I think one of the big shifts for me was when I realized and sort of acknowledged that marketing wasn't about me selling anything. Marketing was about me just showing up and building a relationship with people, letting people know who I am. Because that way it's just more natural. I'm just having a conversation. I'm just sharing what I'm up to. Like this morning I went for a hike up Mount Majura. I posted a photo of that. You know, I often have my dog out for morning runs. I'm in the horse paddock a lot, and quite often that's when I get my inspiration. That's when I get my little ideas that I want to share. Is I'm not necessarily at the laptop creating a pretty post on Canva. I'm outside somewhere doing something, and I will quite often jump on and just share something from there. And that way it also comes across much more naturally as well, because we're not here trying to force a certain sequence or a certain, conversation or something like that. It's just like, this is what I want to share today, and I think
and there's definitely a place. There's a place and time for those branded images, right? There's a place in those.
I do have those too, but it's just I'm not always inspired when I'm creating, it's different.
That's exactly right. That's what I was going to say, was the inspiration behind it is very different. And it's strategic, but and all the gurus and all the downloads will tell you to do those things, but I'm actually telling you that I'd rather watch you walk Lily, your dog, every morning. And when I wake up, you're sleeping, so I get to get caught up, or to watch your daughter with the horses, or your son skateboarding. Like that's what connects me to you, to the point where you were speaking at an event, I'd want to hear you speak. If you were, And so I love that. And I just want to point out, because a lot of people kind of cringe at, I have to show stuff about me. There are 100 ways that you can tell a story about yourself that doesn't involve you being on camera if you're not comfortable yet. Just do your voice. You could be showing a video or a picture away from you, like your camera's turned the other way. You could show a sunrise. I mean, I prefer sunrises over sunsets. I don't know about you, Tash, which is your favorite?
Well, sunrise is my go-to because that's my morning habit. But I do also love if I get out for a second run in the evening and I catch both sunrise and sunset. I'm pretty happy with both. But
so one of my favorite
is my go-to.
Yeah, mine too. And because morning's my favorite. So having that first cup of coffee and seeing the sunrise is like the ultimate inspiration for me. Yeah. One of my go-to post ideas that I always tell my audience to do is like a this or that. And so a sunrise or a sunset is the perfect post to create engagement for your marketing that is not selling anything. And what happens is your audience, they love to tell you, they love to give you an opinion. They want to tell you about them. And so if you do a sunrise and sunset post, you could do a poll, you could do this or that, let your audience vote, right, in the comments, and then get into the comments and create conversation based on something that fills you up. Tell everybody, like you just answered my question, Tash. You said sunrise is the go-to because that's my time when I'm out, but I love a good sunset too, right? Especially when you sit and have a little bubbly or wine, or right, or you're on vacation, you're seeing a gorgeous sunset, whatever it is, it's all more about you.
Yeah. And I think people are more willing to show up and engage with you and have a conversation when it's not a product specific post. We think, I can only post about my business. No, no one wants to hear about your business, really. No one wants to hear about your products, really. They only want to hear about them once they've gotten to know you and they understand that, oh my gosh, she has something that I need. And I love how she's worked through that. I want that too. Whatever your business is, whatever it is you're creating for people. Physical product, it could be services, it could be whatever. But I think, so I mean, I don't know about you, Deb, but I don't watch commercial TV. I don't listen to the radio. I don't read the newspaper. Like any sort of ads or anything like that, mainstream media stuff, I literally just switch off. I don't see them anymore. I don't want to see them. I'm overloaded with that stuff. But I'm happy to show up and watch videos of people just sharing what's going on. You know, Mel Robbins is a great example of, she just shows up, rollers in their hair before a speaking event, walking to get a coffee, like sitting there, we're having a chat with her son, whatever. And she's sharing really valuable stuff, but in a really relaxed way. And you really feel like you know her, like, oh my God, like we're sitting here having coffee every day. And that's,
I love her.
I love her. We don't all have to be Mel Robbins and showing up at that level, but that's the kind of relationship you can build. Now, she just launched something recently and she had like 56,000 people sign up to it in, a day or something. Crazy. Yeah,
I
I did
signed up.
too.
Did you sign up?
Yeah, because
That's
she's
the
built that
accountability
relationship
thing.
with people. It doesn't matter what she's doing. Most of the posts, she's not selling anything. She's just sharing what she's learned, and she's just sharing ideas with people. And that's what we forget, is we have so much knowledge, and I fall for this all the time. I have so much knowledge and experience and perspective
Yep.
over my 20 plus years of working and discovering who I am, and my whole anchor of discovery now. But I forget, it's so innate within me. I forget that I have all this to share. And I'm sure, Deb, you could go on for hours and hours and days and weeks and months. And we all
We
have this
take it
within
for
us. We
granted.
forget.
We take it for granted. And that's another suggestion that I make to my clients too, is we take the process of our business for granted. A great example, if anyone's watching who's in real estate, oftentimes realtors get really stuck with like what to do for marketing, right? And I always think about like, what sets you apart from other realtors? What is it like to work with you? Like from start to finish, from the first contact till the close of the house or beyond. Like maybe you build a relationship beyond. And they're like, people want to know that? I'm like, yes. They also take for granted, they go into a house to photograph it, and they don't show any of the pictures until the house is listed. And I'm like, hey, do a sneak peek. People want to see the hardware in the kitchen. You don't have to reveal the address or the price or the specs. Show me like the clawfoot tub. Show me the glass window and say coming soon. Like there's so many things that we as business owners and people trying to sell or market things, we take it for granted, the stuff that we do every day, but your audience craves this. I mean, a great example is if you're on Instagram and you watch makers like crafters or makers doing pottery, or there's a couple illustrators that I literally watch like this on my phone. I watch them on like their iPad, tablets. I watch them draw. I mean, they're showing me the process. I crave that. I love that. And so marketers, business owners, you can do this too. There is nothing that you should take for granted because your audience does want to see. They want to see it all.
I love watching one of your clients. I think it's Karen from the bakery. What's the name of the bakery?
Be So Sweet.
Be So Sweet. Yeah, because she shows so much behind the scenes of, making new cookies or trying new recipes, or she shares a bit of her history around, her baking. And I love it. My mouth waters every single time I watch one of her videos. I'm like, oh my God, I want one.
And there aren't many bakeries that are showing that behind the scenes because they're so in the weeds of the business, right? But every time she posts, she messages me and says, or almost every time, she says, you're right. It's not about selling products. Like she forgets now to even say, here's where you can buy my cookies. Here's where you can buy my donut muffins, right? She forgets because now she knows that her audience just wants to see the creation. They want to see the pallets of sugar and the butter in the fridge, like how much butter it takes to make these, right? So
but then when they want to buy a cake or a cookie, she's top of mind. She's like, oh, I have to go to Karen. Like no other bakery is even on their radar because of that.
People seek her products out for sure. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. It's so good.
Now, one of the other things I want to talk about, I mentioned it and we chatted about this before. I've been reading Story Brand by Donald Miller and going through his process. Amazing for clarity. Like I'm a discovery coach. I'm all about finding clarity for people, but this just takes it to a whole other level. And it's all about, he had a quote in the book and in his teachings about the human mind is drawn to clarity and away from confusion. So I think when we have so many ideas with marketing, like when it's not clear what we need to do, there's confusion and we run a mile, But the same for your customer. If your customer is not fully grasping what it is you do in a few simple steps, they're going to it's not going to resonate. They're going to go, oh, whatever, and they'll move on to the next thing. And when they find someone who is super clear about what they do and how they do it, that's what will get their attention. So do you want to speak about that a little bit, about just understanding clarity within the business and what you're doing, what you're talking about?
Yeah, I think that it goes back to making things really easy. So easy for yourself and your business and even easier for your audience. So I'll give an example. I have a client that, is really good about showing her products, we'll say, okay, but give her away, but really good. And then 9 times out of 10, she doesn't put the link to learn more, or is missing a detail that her customer needs, because we have to be the guides. We have to actually, I think I said earlier in a Facebook Live today that like you can bring the horse to water. You've got to bring, like the horse needs to be brought to water, and then you got to give them the opportunity to take the drink, right? And I know that if you do it correctly, the horse will drink the water. But if you get the horse to the water, you don't leave them there. You guide their head down to the water to say, here's your water, take a drink. So
it seems silly, but you really have to blatantly tell people what to do next. You know,
It really is about being the guide. So if they never knew anything about you, you have to make the assumption that they are new to you. They don't know where your website is. Like you can't say, check out my website without putting in your website URL. Like, sounds crazy, but when people say, why do you write link in my bio and then tag your profile on Instagram? And I say, because I want people to actually be able to click that profile and get to the bio so that they can see the link. Like you literally have to draw the map. The arrows go this way, then this way, then this way. But each direction, like in StoryBrand, they say it's got to be so simple, so clear. And one thing I will say is you don't take them on the journey all at once. That's a really important. I think StoryBrand, he would agree. A couple other marketing, Seth Godin would agree as well. Let's start here. Yeah. And then when you get here, let's go here and then here, right? And then you're taking them on a step-by-step point A to point B with each conversation, with each touch. And Tash, you just said it a few minutes ago that you're marketing to build a relationship. You're not marketing to sell yet because they don't know you yet. They don't trust you yet. So you have to wait for your audience to say, oh yeah, I kind of want what she's got. So let them tell you what they want from you. This is why I do that whole SAIL acronym, the share, ask, listen, then engage. Like that's what you're doing. It's a process, but it's really easy. And you know, I like to draw things out. Oftentimes I think I have it here. I do have it. It's a relationship map, and you don't have to really see the details, but it really starts in one place and gets to another, right? Yeah. And I call it a relationship map because it is a relationship. Like you don't meet someone and marry them and have a baby that first day. You meet them, right? No, you can't, right? So there's like a process that you have to go through. And so think of it as a relationship and less like you're a customer, I'm a business owner, how can we do this dance? Because that's kind of yucky. Feels gross to me to even talk about it. Yeah. Instead, here's who I am. Here's what I have to offer you. Here's how you can get it from me. And this is all spread out over time. And it like a nurturing, right? It's you love up on them. They love you a little more. They talk to their friends about you. They maybe share a video or a post that you did.
And I think your audience can also start to guide you into what you need to create for them, because we can come up in our mind with what we think they need or what we think we want to create for them. But the more you have these conversations with people, the more you realize, oh my God, it's actually over here, or why don't do this instead, or they actually need this, not that. So
well, and that's why during my SAIL acronym, it's the second or A is ask. You've got to ask your audience what they want. Yeah. And then L is you have to listen, right? The best salespeople, the best marketers are the ones whose ears are wide open, because when you listen to what your dream client, your audience needs from you, you can actually design it exactly for them. Yeah. And when you market it to them, they hear it and see it like clear as day, right? Clarity. It's super clear. They don't even know that they've told you they needed it. That's how amazing it is.
I know. And it's a really fun process when you can start to go, oh my, like I'm listening to you, here it is. And they're like, yes, I want it, I'm in. Like things happen so much more organically.
I think both you and I have fought it, right? Because we want to there's a time when you're a small business owner or a coach, you want to be everything to everybody, right? Yep. You want to give everybody what they need. And I'll be the first one to say that like the day I woke up and said, I have a mind full, funny, right? The word mindful. My mind is full of creative ideas to help business owners market better. That's my specialty. That's my gift. Why am I helping people with logos or their websites? Like, of course I can, right? It's helpful. I can make money doing it.
Yeah.
But I didn't do it as well as someone who was an expert. It took me 10 times longer than someone who was skilled in it. It didn't fill me up. I wasn't inspired. And like, do you see my picture here? Right there, my lighthouse? When I realized that I had all of this information, creative ideas that people were missing in their business, I was like, this is what I'm meant to do. And it didn't happen overnight. And I fought it. And I think Emily said that I was white knuckling at the threshold of a door.
I think we've all white knuckled our way through something. And sometimes
I think that's actually great to bring up, right?
Yeah. We can have the ideas as well, and they can be amazing ideas and they can help people and you've got the skills. And sometimes it's not until you actually do them that you realize, you know what, this isn't actually what I want to do. Like, it's not filling me up the way I thought it would, or it's no fun anymore. And sometimes it works for 6 months or 12 months and then you realize I've outgrown this, or this isn't what I want to do anymore. And that's okay too. Like, it's all part, like the discovery process, it's all this iteration and iteration and iteration, because you can't come up with your perfect plan today. You have to go through the stepping stones. You have to just implement one idea and take the lessons from that, and implement the next idea and take the lessons from that. Like, we sit here, and I'm completely guilty of this, that's why I'm bringing it up, sit here trying to think my way to the perfect offer, the perfect scenario, the perfect business. But I look to where I am today, and I have been through dozens of iterations. Like, when I used to sit in my bank job in finance, and, you know, I had on paper this amazing career and massively fat paycheck and all the things. And I'm like, I'm miserable. I don't want to be here anymore. But I could not think my way into the next iteration. I just had no idea. Like, I can't do anything else. All I can do is this finance world. And I don't want to be here anymore. But I took the next step. And it wasn't the perfect step, but it was the next step. And that opened my eyes to, wow, I do have other capabilities and capacity. There are other things I can do. There are other things that interest me. And then did that for a while and took the next step and the next step and the next step. And I think that's the same with our marketing. We can't have the perfect plan today. We just have to take the next step, and we have to find our own flow. Like, some people love Instagram and they're amazing at it. Some people love Facebook. Some people love Twitter. Some people are amazing at writing blog posts. Some people are amazing at doing videos. Like, you have to try a few things out and find what feels really fun and light to you, and then build your strategy around that. Would you agree?
I would 100% agree on finding a platform that you love to get your message out, because I'm not a writer. So if someone said, Deb, you have to blog every month, I would not be where I am right now. But instead, I said, what am I good at? What makes me feel comfortable? How can I get my voice and my message out to more people? I mean, I started my podcast this year, and it just came so naturally to be talking. And my husband thinks it's funny that I get paid to talk and give people ideas all day long. But the reality is, it's what my audience needed most, was to hear these little nudges and these little tips to creatively market their business, because they were feeling worn out when it came to, they were feeling down, they were feeling overwhelmed. And I take that out of it, because you don't have to be everywhere. And you should be everywhere if you're doing it alone. And the other piece, Dash, that you want to remember is your audience wants to receive information from you, and you have to pay attention to where that is and how that is.
Yeah.
Because, right? So like, I don't read blogs. So the person who I'm looking to buy from, I probably would not read a blog. Instead, the person I would buy from, it would be probably a video or a podcast. So if somebody was marketing to me, the person who's too busy to read a blog, who would rather hear it audio, you know, if somebody knew their dream client, I'm having total deja vu right now. If somebody knew their dream client, and was their dream client, then, and they really knew my behaviors and my likes and dislikes, they would know not to write a long 1,200 word blog in order to get my attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really important for business owners to really hone in on who your audience is, where they want to receive information from you, and how they want to receive information from you. And if you're all on your own, you can't be anywhere. I really only focus on Facebook and Instagram for my audience, and knock on wood, it's been working just fine. It's just fine.
Yeah, it's we do try and do all the things some of the time, and it just, it's not reasonable to do that.
Right.
And I think too, just recognizing that depending on which platform, this random hair in my face, depending on which platform you're going for, there is a slightly different language. There is a different type of content that you post. Like what I post on LinkedIn is very different to what I will post on, say, Instagram or Facebook. Like sometimes there's crossover, sometimes they're relevant across the three, but I do have to change the language a little bit potentially, or not everything I post on Facebook or Instagram will make it to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very different kind of platform.
Right.
That's
but
not
we
to say
know
you
that
have
you
to.
get
Sorry?
your audience is on LinkedIn. We know that from your social stats month to month, right?
And I resisted LinkedIn for a long time because I'm like, I don't get it. Like it's too boring. And what I found, I've tested this. I've done the, professional sort of LinkedIn collared kind of posts. And then I have posted some random on the fly videos of me walking, around the lake, bad hair, wind everywhere, blah, blah, blah. And some of those videos actually got amazing responses because I think they were different. People weren't expecting that kind of video. There's more of them coming up now. This was probably 12 months ago. And I had several people comment on that video. I had, inquiries come in from me walking around on a windy morning, just sharing an idea,
because they like your style. They liked what you were doing. You were different, right? So you were letting people in a little bit, and you were different than any other discovery coach. Like, because there are millions of discovery coaches in the world, but there's only one Tash.
And that's what I think. We try and put ourselves in the box that's already out there, and I think we need to create our own box. I gave myself the title discovery coach. I wasn't really a business coach. I wasn't really a life coach, but I was smack bang somewhere in the middle. And that's my anchor, is discovery. That's what I help people with. And
you need to keep reminding yourself of that.
Yeah. So I would, we all get stuck trying to be like everyone else, to do what everyone else is doing, but we have to really just create our own space, be really comfortable in that, and then just keep moving forward, and not go into hiding.
Right. The quote that I used for my Instagram post yesterday was, always be a first-rate version of yourself and not a second-rate version of someone else.
Exactly. Yeah.
Judy Garland. And I feel like anyone watching, it is actually much easier to just be yourself and let your audience connect with you for who you are, because easiest person to be. And again, if we go back to the pen, like there are going to be people that want to buy Tash's pen, and there are going to be people that want to buy my pen. And the good news is there's plenty of those people out there.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to be everybody's pen.
And I think, we say it's easier to be ourselves, but I remember looking back at some of my earlier videos, and I think last year I posted one from maybe the year before, and you didn't even recognize me. Like, who is that person? Because we show up, we think we're being natural and authentic, but we're still wearing a couple of masks and putting a couple of filters on to sort of look a certain way or present a certain way. And over the years, as I watch the videos, the evolution of my videos, they're very different, say 3 years ago or 2 years ago or even 12 months ago, to what they are today. It does take practice to become yourself, as silly as that sounds. And
no, for sure.
Practice comes in learning how to drop those masks and drop those, those expectations that we put on ourselves, that we have to look a certain way or be a certain way or say a certain thing or whatever it is. It takes practice to drop all of those and just be yourself. But that's okay. That's just, everything is practice. We are all a glorious work in progress. So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like, look at mine. I mean, I look at some of my videos and I think, God, I've grown, right? I've matured.
Yeah.
So like in my 40s, I'm talking about being mature, but it is going back to why we started this entire conversation, is Deb LaFlamme got clear on who she is, what her gifts are, and who she serves. And I didn't know that 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I mean, I was working in people's offices, supporting small businesses with their online marketing, doing the work and trying to be their voice. And I realize now that the best voice that a brand can have is their own voice, and you can't outsource that. But I was like filling the void, filling the gap of these people that didn't want to market, or didn't, it was again, falling to the of their lists, and Deb LaFlamme would come in with her superhero cape and say marketing, right? And if I knew their brand, it worked. But if I was there to kind of pick up the pieces, it doesn't work. And so I realized that I wanted to teach and empower business owners to do it themselves in a way that was natural and a way that they could really build relationships so that their customers and audience would really connect with who they were. And small businesses have the power to do that. I've been reading more and more that big brands are trying. So there was a time when small businesses tried to be big, right? Mm-hmm. We would like, we at For the Love of Your Biz instead of I, because I'm only one person, but I'd say, we'd love you to join us for our class. But it was really just me.
Yeah.
Small businesses everywhere were trying to be bigger than they were. Big businesses are now trying to be like us, personable, going on hikes. It doesn't work for big brands. It doesn't. They're too big. There's no face of the brand. There's, they're instead, like for Nike, you can't have the CEO of Nike doing a walk around a pond in the morning with his dog. Instead, the brand is the Nike, just do it with a swish. They're a logo, right?
Yeah.
They're not a person. But you and I and everyone probably watching, we have that gift. We can connect with people and say, here's why you should buy my pen. Because I live in Boston and you love visiting Boston and Boston's a fun city and, whatever it is. I'm a middle child. People always get a kick out of the fact that I'm a middle child. I so behave like that. I'm a middle child too. Or your astrological sign. I'm a Leo. Oh, I'm a Leo too, right? It's common threads. Big brands can't do that. So it's a true gift for small businesses. And I love to remind people of that because don't hide that. That's what makes you different. That's what sets you apart. And that's what people love to hear and see.
And I think the more that you show up and just share what's going on and what your thoughts are and what your perceptions are, the more you realize the value that you have that you don't recognize to start with. I come across so many people, myself included, that it comes so naturally to us that we don't think that there's, that not everyone has that skill.
No one cares, right?
Well, whatever. Everyone does that. No, they don't. I can see things differently than people, but I still need support in other areas that I'm not great at. I was going to say I aren't great at. I'm not great at English today. But we have to just really own and accept and applaud the skills and the knowledge and the perspective that we have, and celebrate that, and know that we don't have to be perfect at everything, but we just have to stay in our lane and do what we do best, and share that with people. So
absolutely. That's
so many
great way to put it. Mm-hmm.
So where can people find out more about Deb? I know you have a free group where it's full of social post ideas. So do you want to share the links for that, and I can put them in the post as well?
Sure. Yeah. And so on Facebook, my free community is Social Post Ideas with Deb LaFlamme, which again, it's a gift to give you ideas. So basically every month I drop in a couple dozen prompts that you can use throughout the month to help you market better. I also do some Facebook Lives in there and lots of inspiration just to kind of keep you motivated and on track. So that's a great place to connect with me. Or I love Instagram, and I show like business on the grid, personal on the story. I always tell you that, right?
I never remember to do it that way. I just,
Oh, it doesn't. That's just what I do. That doesn't mean that it's, doesn't mean that it's right for you, but that's what I do. So I always if you want to learn about my business, go to the grid. If you want to see the behind the scenes personal stuff, go to the story. So it's easier than having 2 accounts. That's for sure. Yeah.
True. Mine's a bit of a mishmash of both, but I think for me, for what I do, it's very personal for people. And I think it's nice for people to see who Tash is. Like, that's my life. And some people love it, and some people don't care, and that's fine too.
A plus, Tash, A plus.
Yeah. Awesome. Any final words on marketing and helping people get over their fear of it or their resistance to it?
So I think some wise words that I would want to leave everyone with is when you hide and you don't shine your beautiful light bright from your lighthouse, you leave someone out there who doesn't know what you do. And it's somewhat selfish, right? Because they need you, and they may not even know that they need you. So don't worry about the 10 or 100 or 1,000 or 100,000. Talk to that one person who needs to hear what you have to offer, your service, your product. Because when you do that, they hear you loud and clear, and they take action to build that relationship that you can then nurture and have a dream client in the palm of your hand. So just don't hide. If you're feeling like you don't want to show up today, show up in a way that doesn't require you to show up, but at least that you can share your message.
Yeah, absolutely. I often will just, think of something random, post it, and then I'll get a comment later. I needed to hear that today. Thank you. And that's like, yeah, great. Awesome.
There's easy ways to do it. There's a lot of, you don't even know that people are always like, I have to create, especially on Instagram. You can share posts to your stories. If you follow, like we talked about Mel Robbins, you follow Robbins or Brené Brown or Oprah Winfrey, whoever it is that inspires you. If you follow Tash, if you follow me, share our post if it moved you, and then you actually, it's the ripple effect, right? That's what social media is. It's social. Don't just sit and watch, participate in the conversation, whether you're a consumer or you're a marketer. It's the exact same thing.
And like you said, you can curate content. Not every single post has to be your own piece of, masterpiece, your own work of art. You can curate content, and that just builds the conversation on who you are and who you're interested in and what you're talking about. So. It's
my favorite ninja trick is curating other people's content. If it moves me, it is 100% going to move my audience because I am a dream client.
Yeah, exactly. Deb. Now, Deb could talk for hours. We could have this conversation going forever, but I'm going to wrap it up now so people will actually come back and watch this. But thank you, Deb, for spending some time with us this morning. I think this is a topic that bugs us all, this marketing thing. We put so much expectation on what it should be and what it needs to be, and really it is just us showing up and sharing who we are and what we have to offer in a really fun and easy and relaxed way. Building relationships. It's not just about, selling. It's building relationships, getting to know your audience so you can serve them even better, I think. And when you sort of flip that over in your mind a little bit, everything becomes so much easier. Awesome. All right, Deb, talk to you soon. Thanks.
Bye, everybody. Thank you, Sash.